Welcome to Shallow Waters, where we're not afraid to admit that swimming in the same deep water as you is hard. We're also not afraid to make a mess of our hair in front of everybody or allow our child to shower 3 feet away from us while we make a video. So today I am going to be reviewing the HD Skin new makeup by Makeup Forever. I've been playing with it for a few days and I have some thoughts and I would like to share them with y'all. So I'm going to try to get the new Makeup Forever HD Skin to work for my skin, which is highly textured. I had cystic acne as a young person, and it is also rosacea-prone. Today, what I've done is prepped my skin with my 2 prescriptions and some Isntree, I don't have a voice today, Isntree hyaluronic acid watery sun gel. I've been playing with this new foundation for 2 days on bare skin. And the first day I used my fingers. The second day I used a sponge. And I also have tried in an area to use a brush and see what it did. So far the sponge application did look best to me, but I did notice that the texture of my skin was enhanced a little bit by the very, I find very matte finish. I'm used to very dewy finishes. I'm usually more of a BB cream kind of girl. So I decided today I would put my sunscreen on, which is as per usual, but I'm also going to use the Cookies and Dream Primer, which is e.l.f.'s latest special edition of the Poreless Putty Primer, and I'm going to try to fill in my pores a little bit with that to create a smoother canvas so I don't have as much noticeable texture here. And I'll put a little bit on my forehead as well, because that's an area where foundation tends to stick a little funny. It didn't the other day with the HD Skin, but just to try to give it its best shot ever, I will do that as well. It's weird to be this up close, especially with my voice going. My goodness, what's up with that? So for the purpose of this video, I did go a little all out. I spent my birthday money and I bought 3 samples and a full size. So I think this side of the package look really cute. This side looks really boring. And this is the full size, only has the boring look. But the neat thing is the caps are different colors, as you'll see from the full size. This one is a slightly more medium toned. I think this one is as well. This is the 1N06. Maybe this is a little bit later than that. Oh, they're about the same. This is the R1R02, which is the lightest one I got, which is definitely got pale. And then I got the 1N14. So in order of colors, we have the 1R02, the 1N06, the 1R12, and the 1N14. So I will swatch those for you. So this is the lightest one. Next most light one, a little bit yellowier, and then the next most light one And then finally, the slightly darker, supposedly neutral one, which to me just is yellower, not more neutral. So personally, I think this one looks the best, but that's my thought process. I am just going to buff this out with a foundation brush. I think they're all similar enough that I don't have to worry about it ruining the look. And I'm going to go in with the one I thought was the best shade match, which is the 1R12. So I'm going to put a pump of that on the back of my hand. All right, so this is on the back of my hand. I'm going to use a sponge because that is what I thought gave the best finish. I will need a second pump, probably because I'm using a sponge. The brush, I think I could get away with one pump, but sponges do absorb some of the product, so I think that's also why they give such a nice, more realistic looking finish, because you don't have as much product on. It's easier not to over apply. I do think that the finish is much nicer with the sunscreen and the primer underneath. As you can see, there's still some glow. That was not the case when I put this on without anything underneath. It was very matte. And today it's just slightly matte. I do still see some texture here, but I didn't take the primer that far, so I think that's my own bad. I won't hold it against the foundation. I'll try to get a little more underneath my eyes, because I personally don't like wearing a lot of concealer. In fact, this is more of like a brightener, and it's been my favorite lately. It is the Becca Smashbox in Under Eye Brightening. And I just think this stuff is the bomb. It's almost like an inner eye highlight at the same time that it's a concealer. It's just, I think, just the right product for me and the kind of thing I like, because I don't like a really bright inner eye highlight, but I do think that looks cute on other people, and I enjoy being able to get a little bit of brightness there. Contour, which is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in So Shady. And I just like to put it towards the back of my face and like that hollow spot that I already have. See, this I don't have any contour on yet, but there's already a hollow space there, so I put it right there just to accentuate that, and then I just blend it out a little bit so there isn't a definite spot where it is. So if you're looking at me in real life, you're not going, why does she have this blotchy dark spot? So there's that. And for today's purposes, I did want to try the Jones Road Miracle Balm, not Beauty Balm, again. And I'm really working this. I'm not using my fingernails though, which I think is what you're supposed to do. This has an ever, it's very subtle. I think it's more of a beeswax smell. I think there's beeswax in there. That's my theory. Or some sort of vegan alternative. Something beeswax-like. Let me just check in the mirror on the wall. All right, I do like that color quite a bit. And now, because I got a gift from my birthday from Miss Kelsey Boston, I have Pharmacy Makeup Highlighter Stick, which I think goes really well with the shirt, don't you think? I am going to put just a little bit of that on top of the Jones Road at the very high point of my cheekbone. And yes, this fingernail has not recovered from the fake nails yet. Oh my, look at that. Super bling. Okay, just a little of it too. Ooh, that's potent stuff. And next, I'm going to do something. This is my blush to Nudes, the very 90s looking palette that I have. I think it's Maybelline. Yep, Maybelline. I'm just going to take my favorite one right here. I'm going to use my fingers today because I'm about to go to the gym and there's no reason to overdo it with an eye look and then go to the gym. That would be foolishness. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that on, and then I think I'm going to take just a little bit of this peachy color on the inside of my lids. Maybe just a little more over here. For whatever reason, that's just not going on as well on that side. And then I'm going to take this greenish gray that I really like and pop that on the corner just a wee. And again, a very light application, nothing major. E.L.F. HD and my Sigma powder brush. And I am just going to set what I have done so far with just a teeny bit of powder. Not too much because, again, one of the things I was trying to do with this foundation is make it less matte because it was very matte to start off with when it's used on its own without the glowy sunscreen underneath, without the primer. And I personally like a glowier look, so I don't want to get rid of all the glow. See, I still have some glow. I'm happy. But hopefully that will also help set it down. Is this new telescopic mascara. I've only used it once. You saw it here. Look at that tiny little brush. It is amazeballs. Uh-oh. I'm running out of time. This brush is like amazing to me. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know if you can see that where you are, but it actually gives me eyelashes. Like, I think fully normal size eyelashes. Which God did not give me. I did get a little bit on my eyelid though, because I wasn't being careful. I was starting to get speedy in a hurry. And I have one other thing I want to do, which is my eyebrows. Because I don't have any eyebrows to speak of. I gotta go find my shoes because it's time to go to the gym. looks cute enough. Oh, and to finish off this look, I'm going to use some lip stain. In a color called Power Mauves. And my hair is still wet, so you'll have to see the finished look a little bit later. So here is my 5-hour check-in. I took a photo so you could see just how much oil ended up pooling around my nostrils. But otherwise, the peripheral area of my face looked good, and I was not mad, but I will need to figure out, like with most foundations, what I need to do to control the oil around my nose. So this is my end of day. I'm super smudgy all around. I didn't use any eye primer, so that's part my fault. But definitely shiny. I ended up having to put more powder on my nose. It was bad. It's still pretty. The oil that pools up in my nose is something else. But overall, though, I do still think it's a great color match. And it really looks good on the peripherals of my face. But I'd have to have a good plan for what to do to keep it from sliding off the middle of my face. And I think next time I try it, I will do it with more of a real eye makeup look and actually put eye primer on, because that came off pretty fast. But generally speaking, I'm not mad at it considering how oily my skin is. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've really experienced much different with any other foundation, but I do think out of all the ones I've tried, this is probably one of the better shade matches I've had. And it does have a nice finish, and it is very natural. And if I use the primer, I didn't notice as much texture, which was nice. So this is my end of day. Today is day 2 of this video, but it is the 4th day I've tried Makeup Forever, 2nd day I've filmed it. And I'm just putting on a new hoodie that I got for my birthday from my children. And I didn't realize that my undershirt was also a hoodie, so I'm like double hoodieing it over here. Hopefully that doesn't look too strange. But I think they did such a great job. Look, it's got lace, it's got stripes, it's got a hood. They know what I like. I'm proud of my 2 youngest children who picked this out for my birthday. Now back to my thoughts on the HD Skin Foundation. One, it tends to run more yellow than it says. So when you're doing your shade matching, keep that in mind. This is the 1R12. And the 1R12 and the 1R2 were the best matches for me. I ended up going with the 12. I think it overall looks pretty good. I don't see any like lines of demarcation, but it is still more yellow than I think red undertone foundation would be. The neutral I think was peachier than I would have expected, and the yellow was very yellow. So just keep that in mind if you're doing your shade matching. Also, what I'd like to point out is that it is a semi-matte finish. And by putting a very glowy base underneath, you can make it a dewier look. You can also use primers to kind of minimize the type of texture that might show up because it is a semi-matte. And I did have some breakthrough oil around my nostrils when I did a wear test. Today I actually put powder on first, just around my nose, put the Makeup Forever on, and then I will see if it wears better with being pre-powdered, just in that trouble zone. But this is not unique for me. I have very oily skin, which on one hand, I'm 45 now. That was my birthday on Tuesday. And I don't have a lot of wrinkles. So there are some upsides to having very oily skin. As a teen, I looked like I slathered Vaseline all over my face by the end of the day, no matter what I did. And now that I'm in my 40s, I still am about that oily, but mostly around the nose area. The rest of my skin is just moderately oily, and it actually held up really well on the rest of my face. With oily skin, it is definitely not 24 hours. It was more like 5, but that's true of pretty much all the foundations I've ever tried, including Smashbox, which says it's 24 hours also. So again, performing similar to other long wear foundations on my skin type. If you were to have more normal skin, I imagine it would be very long wearing. And we'll see if pre-powdering and post-powdering helps today. I will do an update, but for the most part, those are my thoughts. I do think they have a nice shade range. I do think it's a nice texture. It's flattering. I don't think it's anything magical like the interwebs are saying, but it's certainly an upgrade from many of the products out there, and I certainly think it's worth the price point. All right, this is a 6-hour check-in. And once again, very oily already. But again, that's normal for me, so take that information as you will. Welcome to my favorite kitchen. Thank you for coming to Shallow Waters. Like and subscribe.